Hello everyone. This is going to be an informal video. I just want to talk about my experience going back to the movies again after, I guess, about a year and a half with the pandemic and then my illness that I was dealing with through most of 2021. So I have an account on Letterboxd, which for people that don't know, Letterboxd is kind of like a blog slash diary website where you can just kind of keep track of what movies you have seen. You can write reviews and like comment on other people's reviews and stuff like that, or make lists. So I made an account there back in 2014, and I used it up until 2016. And every year I would make a list where I talked about movies that I saw in theaters. And I stopped using it for 5 years, which I wish I hadn't, because I would have loved to keep track of all that stuff. But yeah, I started using it again when I got sick. Um, I had a lot of free time on my hands to watch movies and things like that. So um, yeah, I primarily go to my local theater. Um, they have recliners. They they have a location in the mall near me, um, and then they used to have a location that was in a different part of the city that would play like small movies, independent movies, foreign movies, things like that. But they had to close that during the pandemic, so they are playing those kinds of movies at the mall location. But I think that's only because people are not going to the movies as much as they were pre-pandemic. So the major distribution companies like Disney are not monopolizing the screens like they usually are. So I don't know how long they're going to do that at the theater. I would not be surprised at all if, when things start to like really fully open back up, if they just kick all those movies completely out. But I don't know. So I'm going to take a look at my letterboxed list here. Just kind of go through the movies. And for some context, the last movies I remember seeing before the pandemic and before I got cancer, my fiance and I saw Uncut Gems in February of 2020, and then we saw The Rise of Skywalker, I think like the day before we went into lockdown, when we had that initial 2-week lockdown where everybody thought it was just going to be that. Um, so that was like March 11th or 10th or 9th, around that time. Um, so now that I have a disability with my leg and I need to use crutches to get around, at least for now, and I can't flex it fully depending on how I'm sitting, going to a theater that has recliners has been very, very beneficial for me, but I'll get into that later. So the first movie I saw was Paul Schrader's The Card Counter, starring Oscar Isaac. I wanted to see that just because I thought it was cool that Paul Schrader was getting a theatrical run. I know that First Reformed had a theatrical run when that came out. I did not see that until this year, and I don't know how large the syndication for it was. But it was really interesting to see that at a theater like that, and I feel like it was a nice way to kind of get back into the rhythm of seeing a movie in a theater, because it was a very easy watch. Um, Now that I have seen First Reformed, I feel like The Card Counter is him kind of doing what he was doing in First Reformed, but not as good. I still thought it was really enjoyable, and the pacing and the tone reminded me quite a lot of Nicholas Refn's Too Old to Die Young, and then, of course, the third season of Twin Peaks. So it just had like that very dreamy, slow, ominous pacing. Um, but I don't know if it really paid off the way that Too Old to Die Young and The Return did. In my personal opinion, I kind of wish the movie had been a little bit more violent, a little bit more ballsy. But overall, it was enjoyable. It was a nice refresher, and you know, just a nice introduction to get back into doing that. Um, and that was about a little over 10 days. No, I guess it was about 2 weeks after I got out of the hospital for my last chemo. So um, it was a really good feeling to do something like that again after a year and a half of being stuck inside. So after that, uh, I saw. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I want to say it's like Julia Ducournau. Let me take a look here. Yeah, I believe it's Julia Ducournau. Uh, so we saw her film Titane, um, which I absolutely loved, and for me it was absolutely amazing to see that kind of movie in a theater in 2021, especially at like a mall and not some art house theater that's tucked away in a city alleyway that only plays the movie for 3 days and then it's gone. I really enjoy Titane. I have a running joke with my friends and family that any kind of movie that involves augmenting yourself or changing yourself with metal obviously resonates with me because half of my body's metal at this point. So um, I want to say I'll probably talk more about that movie on this channel at some point. But as a metal man, it gets a thumbs up from me. And 2 weeks later, my fiance and I saw Halloween Kills. And kill he did. Kills were very good. Not much else. The movie really kind of sucked. I thought the whole like mob violence thing was handled really poorly and very poorly acted and performed, and just overall not good. Maybe Halloween Ends will redeem it somehow. I don't know, but I just thought it was not very good. But it was cool to see that in the theater. We saw it in the packed theater, so you know, when you go see a horror movie like that, half of the fun is just people in the audience freaking out and shit like that. So that was cool. And then of course, at the end of the month of October, this was going to be the movie that I wanted to be my first movie back in theaters, or first movie seeing back in a theater. So me and some friends and my fiance saw Dune, Denis Villeneuve's Dune. I had just finished reading the book the day before. I was very excited. And we made a trip nearly halfway across the state to see it in IMAX, and I loved it. It was really good. I've seen it about 3 more times on HBO Max since I saw it in theaters. I don't really know what I can say about it that hasn't already been said. But just great movie all around. I wish it had been about maybe 15 to 20 minutes longer to include a little bit more of the character building. But overall, I feel like the gist of the first half of the book was there. Seeing it in IMAX was insane. I had not seen a movie in IMAX since I saw Blade Runner 2049. And I feel like that movie's failure at the box office was partially why Dune was not as long as I feel like it should have been. I feel like Warner Brothers may have told Denis Villeneuve that it could only be so long. But I'm very happy that they're going to be able to make part 2 at least, and I really hope he gets to make Messiah, because I feel like Messiah is... I like Messiah a little bit more. But in terms of going to the movies as a disabled person, um, IMAX seating was not very enjoyable for me. If I am sitting in a way that my upper leg is pointed upwards, I cannot flex my leg fully, and I'm sure I'll be able to at some point. I'm still in physical therapy and all that, but yeah, that was a little frustrating that I had to kind of bow my leg out to the side for the entire movie. But the sound, the visuals, the story, the acting, everything was so engrossing in IMAX that I wasn't really focused on it too much. Um, but I had decided that I will not see a movie unless I can go see it at a theater that has recliners for now. And then the last movie that I have seen in theaters as of now is No Time to Die. Um, Pretty enjoyable. A lot better than Spectre. Very fitting end for the Craig saga, I feel. I kind of want to go back and watch them all now because I haven't seen any of them since their respective releases. I think the last time I saw Casino Royale may have been like 2012. Um, but one thing I thought was interesting about No Time to Die, it felt very inspired by Metal Gear, which, you know, is funny to me because Metal Gear has always taken things from James Bond, and now James Bond is taking things from Metal Gear. Um, but yeah, that is everything that I have seen in a theater this year. Um, there really wasn't anything that came out earlier in the year that I would have wanted to go see, but I really couldn't have gone to see it anyway. Um, I kind of wish they had done a theatrical run for the last Evangelion movie. I would have gone to see that regardless of my condition. I would have gone to see it somehow. But I had a really enjoyable watch party for that with some friends, so that was fun. But I'm looking at Letterboxd right now, and like I said, there's really nothing that came out this year that I can think of that I would have preferred to see in the theater. So, yeah. For the rest of the year, nothing is coming to mind right now outside of Paul Thomas Anderson's Licorice Pizza. Um, there's a theater in my state that still projects movies on film, so hopefully they'll be playing it on 35mm film. And I can make a trek down there to go see that. But we'll see. I'd like to end this video by saying that me and a friend are going to eventually start doing a video series on this channel. Kind of similar to like what Red Letter Media does on Half in the Bag, but instead of talking about the stupid popular shit that everyone is seeing, I think we're going to focus more on like independent or foreign movies that don't get a lot of attention. So that's something I'm excited for. We're still trying to figure out the formatting of it, how much of it is going to be us just sitting and talking or versus like showing clips or, you know, trying to have maybe like a set that mirrors what movie we're talking about, but I'm not sure. We'll have to see how it turns out. But yeah, I'm very happy to be able to go see movies in a theater again. It's been great that most people are not going to the theaters. I mean, I keep my mask on the entire time and things like that, but it's really enjoyable to go to a theater and not have a packed house smacking on popcorn and dropping their phones and dropping their keys and turning their phone light on to look for it. So, yeah, and that's about it. So I will see you guys on the next video.